Hello, sir.
Jeff, thanks so much for having us. Sorry, we underestimated the turnout.
Oh, that's okay. I wish the gym was available if I could.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. You're very welcome.
Saying, oh, we need to be relatively close to the site.
I'm glad you did.
No, good people in very good training.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Let me know what you need. Do you want another chair? No row?
I don't know. I don't know if we can really feasibly put another row here, can we? I mean, if this is where people are
Then we'll
doing.
move this one out when we do comments.
Yeah, we could.
And then they can come up and line up down the row there.
Yeah.
It's probably the easiest way to do
Okay.
that. Because they'll line. Yeah.
So we could do another row
Okay.
right here.
I'll come through the back.
Okay. Okay. Carl, you can sit here.
He wants to be at the maybe Margie.
Margie? No, just Margie.
Yep.
So, yeah. Who's sitting at the
Me, there, probably John.
So you can sit here, you can sit there, we can pull this chair, whatever. Just, we're gonna put more rows in there, and then if people are gonna line up at this mic down the road, when it's time to speak, we'll move this.
I'm going to make an announcement now. We have the feedback forms and make an announcement.
Did they come? Did they get here? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Just making sure.
Harry, am I on?
Can you turn the mic on?
We're going to start in about 5 minutes. We now do have written feedback forms in the back. If you want to leave any written comments, there are feedback forms at the entrance table and pens. If you want to write any comments, there's a box back there where you can leave any written comments. So feel free to get up and get a written form if you'd like. We have those in the back. We will be starting in about 5 minutes, and there will be a time for public. Thank you. There are written comments forms in the back. If you want to leave a written comment, there are blank forms that you can fill out in the back. And there's a box where you can leave written forms. We will have a time for public feedback after our presentations this evening. We'll get started in about 5 minutes. Thank you.
Do you have any speakers for people in the hallway there?
Deepa may seem like somebody like a cane or
Do you have speakers for people in the hallway there?
We do not.
let me see.
On the right, she's got them up
Like I think
right there.
Like,
So the speakers don't go
I thought it was
They could be.
Sound tested it.
Right, no, I know, I'm saying that.
Harry can make this.
Yeah,
Jeff is, but he's trying to do that first.
okay.
Do you have the call?
Yeah, I have it.
what's the, are we speaking at the post?
That's the, yeah.
They just need more for feedback.
So they're gonna face you guys, but speak.
Okay, great.
Jeff is bringing more chairs, but
Yeah, I mean roughly. Yeah. Because there are going to be a lot of people. Yeah. Be here.
So it's more, yeah. So if you want to be at the podium.
Because we can't really use things.
I'm just going to use this.
yeah, Harry can turn the mic off.
Yeah. What would we think we have this many?
I mean, this is a pretty big one.
There's 3 of those chairs. We got people that are elderly that
We're getting more chairs for the hallway. Yeah.
we got room right here. We can just take 3 of those. That'd be great.
We'll take presentation, then
Here's.
public comment. Councilman, how you doing? Sorry I haven't gotten you that email. I was going to get to you. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
We'll do about 3 minutes presentation.
Right here.
See how long it takes.
So I will present a little bit of site selection process and answering some questions.
Well, there's some here.
I just want to tell you, this site is within 1,000 feet of the park, so it's not able to house. And we do that. Hotels are not. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Those can go up there. Well, he's staying. I don't know why. Serenading
Look here. We got some people on the hallway. You can't go.
Timothy.
I don't know where to put them.
It's told them.
We got more chairs. Sit right there.
You didn't see that.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
It was 4 chairs, right? Yeah. Yeah, thank you. No, that's it. Yeah. That's it. You went after this. I think that's it. I want to move right there. Try to see what I want.
I'll have to ask you to put it down when we get started.
We got some other people coming right here, honey, so they can sit with you.
We've got a couple seats up front, especially for anyone who needs to sit, elderly or disabled. Invite you to come up front. young kids. We've got a couple seats up front. We're going to get started shortly in a couple minutes. Thank you for your patience. And we're just going to try to squeeze in as many people as possible. Give us one more minute to get everything settled, and we'll get started. Thank you.
We got two right there, and you got one right here at the end if you want. She can move over. Three right there. I'm sure she wants to move on this side. Can we move right here, sweetheart? And then she'll sit right there with her family. Let me get your gloves and stuff. Sit down.
Where are you sitting?
Ready? I think we're good.
Probably, well, I was gonna sit over there, but.
Harry, I'm ready.
Good evening and welcome to this meeting the city is hosting on our proposed New Day Intake Center. My name is Carl Hetler. I'm the city homelessness coordinator. I'm seeing our this evening. We are first going to hear from our mayor, James Mueller. Then we'll have a presentation from Caleb Bauer, the executive director of community investment. We'll hear from the New Day Intake Center Motels From Now staff also. And then we're going to have a long time for your questions. We'll invite people to come up here to the front for 3 minutes at a time to be able to share any concerns, questions, support that you have. We want to be able to hear from as many people as possible tonight. That's why we're going to ask you to keep those public comments at 3 minutes. There are written forms at the back table. If you want to fill out a written form, if you don't get a chance to share what you'd like to this evening, please take advantage of those written forms and fill that out. We want to get as much public feedback this evening as we can. But first, I invite up our mayor, James Mueller.
Here or there?
Market Dan's ready. Fire chief coming out. There's no doubt we're way over capacity in this room, which is unsafe. In addition to the people outside, so as a fire person, what's your? Do you see the sign that says capacity in this room? I don't know what it says. So you're saying you're not going to worry about the number of people in here? Yes or no?
I don't know what the room is rated at.
Okay, what would this be?
I don't know. Yeah, does it count? Should there not be a sign posted on this building that says that?
Before we get
No, I appreciate safety first, Commissioner Dieter.
Before we get into that, I think it's only fair for people on both sides who are in favor and against, which is great on either way. It's not fair for the people that are lined up outside the building that can't hear. And that's fine, but I think it would be better if we had a bigger venue so everybody could be in. I'm just talking.
Sure.
So if we had a bigger venue, at a different time, because this, everybody, I'm sure everybody wants to talk.
I'll invite everybody to the Union Station the next time I'm here. All right.
Sure.
Would that be
Sure.
you guys?
500 people there, okay?
Yeah, let's see what we can get done tonight with what we've got. People showed up. Absolutely. We're going to present. You guys can stay. You don't have to stay. If people don't want to stay, they don't have to stay. No. It's an interesting tactic, Commissioner Dieter. I appreciate that.
This is not a safe venue to have this discussion, Mr. Mayor.
Well, we can have written feedback. We can share the information. Okay.
I can't make that happen right now.
Mayor Mueller?
Sure. Sure.
Is there a site for one of the news organizations that has this streaming live so we could listen to it in the hallway?
They'd have to ask a news organization.
Streaming it?
I think we can stream this live that the mayor is not allowing public input into the safety of the community.
Can I ask a quick question?
No, yeah, go ahead.
Hey, for the press in the back, members of the press, are any of you streaming this live that we can give the link to folks? You are? Is that ABC? Oh, you're not. You're not. I guess. Okay. Well.
Yeah. Well, then.
I think we got to.
Hey, if everyone wanted, if folks just want to go home with no information, that's fine. I mean, let's. All right, who wants to go home without information? Okay. Okay, we don't want information. I don't know how we're supposed to go.
Trying to have a discussion, Mr. Mayor.
You want to bring it back here?
Bring what?
The folks in the hallway.
Do you think they can fit? They're worried about the fire code.
Here, I think
What do you want? What do you want to do?
Hey,
People of South Bend, the community of South
Folks.
Bend has determined this is not a safe environment.
we're happy to bring people over here in the back. You won't have a great view of the presentation, I'm sorry about that, but you should be able to hear all right. Well, we wanted to have a meeting near the site that we're talking about and hopefully get neighbors to come out, so we're sorry about the capacity issues, but if you could communicate to the folks in the hallway, they're welcome to come into the back here.
I don't know.
I think we got to move forward.
Go what?
Keep going.
All right.
Speak a little more.
Sure. Yeah. So I mean, are we staying? What are we doing? Well, it looks like everyone's staying. I see people staying.
Can I make a suggestion? I believe
Sure.
there's a church in here with
Okay.
like 200 seats.
We'll
Can
ask,
we move
ask
there?
Jeff.
I mean, is that okay or not? an
Jeff
option?
is the manager of it.
Okay. I mean,
They're
I'm just
going to go
thinking if
see
there's
him.
a bigger facility in here that we
We
can
can
try to
look
do
at it.
this so we can all
Yeah.
come and see this and have a discussion.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're getting another 100.
Okay. All right. Yep. Hey, how's it going? Good, good.
Is that okay? Sorry, I'm not trying to confiscate anything.
People in?
It's okay. Thanks.
What's that? Yeah. All right, so I'll ask one more time. Are we staying or are we going? Staying. And only, if we're going to have a constructive dialogue, only one person can speak at a time. We're going to be respectful. Everyone's going to be allowed to speak. We'll stay here as long as it takes to make sure everyone can have their voice heard. And so, that's just how we hope this can go.
People outside be able to have their voice heard?
They will be able to come in. We can cycle people in and out. Like I said, only one person can speak at a time if we're going to have a constructive night. They were working on that. I don't know if there's a PA system out there. Okay. So I appreciate everyone. This is obviously a bigger turnout than we were expecting. I see Republican friends, I see Democratic friends, I see those who aren't involved in the political process really, and I see new faces. So we're glad to see new faces. We do a lot of public events throughout the year, and we love to see a community engaged. And I know everyone is here tonight, no matter what your views are. You're here because you care about the city of South Bend, you care about your community, and you care about your neighborhood. So thank you for being here tonight. We have a couple brief presentations, and then we want to hear from all of you. So I will shut up now, and we will get to the presentations, and then we will hear from all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Caleb Bauer. I'm Executive Director of Community Investment for the City of South Bend. I'm going to talk through a little bit of background on the city's thinking around a low barrier intake center, give you some information about what that really means, talk a little bit about site selection and how we landed on selecting this site after multiple years of looking for a site that could house this facility. I will answer what I believe are some frequently asked questions. I know there will be more questions, and we will all have an opportunity to hear those. And then we'll hear from the New Day Intake Center folks, and then we'll move on to public comments. I hope to present for about 10 minutes. I think New Day will be about 10 minutes, and then the rest of the night is hearing from you. We will turn this microphone around, and so when we get to that, we'll line up in this aisle and have people come speak. So we'll get there when we get there, but first, I want to start with some helpful definitions. I appreciate everyone being here tonight, and I want to make sure that we're all being able to talk about some of the technical terms that get thrown around related to homeless services that maybe not everyone have seen before or encountered. So one term you'll hear tonight is housing first, and this is an evidence-based model that provides has found that providing housing to people experiencing homelessness before addressing other underlying issues, mental health issues, substance abuse issues, actually gives them a better chance to resolve those issues in the long run. We'll talk about some of the research behind that, but I see some heads shaking and I see some heads nodding, and we appreciate everyone being here tonight. Thank you. Permanent supportive housing is a measure for addressing homelessness that provides affordable housing and supportive services without preconditions. We have a couple permanent supportive housing facilities in the city of South Bend, and I'll talk about those later and the successes we've seen there. And then the Low Barrier Intake Center. This is the facility we're talking about tonight. It's designed to be a point of entry for chronically homeless individuals. Those are individuals who have been on the street for more than a year or have been on the street for multiple times over a 3-year period repeatedly. And provides shelter prior to their transition to permanent housing. So the intake center is where someone first gets services, then they would be moved into permanent supportive housing. I want to talk a little bit about Housing First efforts in South Bend. In 2017, Mayor Pete Buttigieg commissioned the South Bend Working Group on Chronic Homelessness, and they issued recommendations which included adopting the Housing First approach. This is a policy that's adopted by the federal government and the state of Indiana and many other municipal governments around the country. South Bend Heritage also opened their Oliver Apartments in 2017, which is on the southwest side of the city in the Rum Village neighborhood. It's a 32-unit permanent supportive housing apartment complex. Encourage you to drive by there. It's just off of Indiana Avenue. Beautiful building, and it's been a really great success. In 2018, the city proposed the Low Barrier Intake Center to be sited on South Michigan Street near the Central Fire Station. I think some of you might recall that. After resident feedback, the city agreed to focus on decentralizing the geographic location of homeless services instead of placing them in the area where all the other service providers are currently. In 2019, the South Bend Common Council rejected a rezoning for a permanent supportive housing development on the 1500 block of West Washington Boulevard in the near West Side neighborhood. In 2020, Motels for Now was started after the large 100-person plus encampment developed in the downtown during the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2022, South Bend Heritage opened Hope Avenue Homes, which is on the northeast side in the Edison Park neighborhood. So this map might be hard to see for some in the back, but I want to talk about what are some of the service providers in South Bend and where are they located. I think many of us are aware Center for the Homeless and Hope Ministries are in the downtown area, as well as Our Lady of the Road. On the near west side, we have a Life Treatment Center's permanent supportive housing home on Taylor Street. If you drove by it, you would have no idea that it is a PSH facility. On the southwest side, we have the Oliver Apartments 32-unit permanent supportive housing site. Also on the south side, Broadway Christian Parish provides a number of services for homeless individuals. That includes laundry, meals, breakfast every day. The Washington Colfax Apartments in the near west side also include some what are called integrated permanent supportive housing units. So instead of the entire development being those permanent supportive housing units. It's got normal rental units, and it's got some permanent supportive housing units mixed in. Oaklawn also has a small permanent supportive housing development on the northeast side, and then you can see in the top right corner the newest permanent supportive housing development in Edison Park, the Hope Avenue Homes. So Housing First, let's talk about that. It is a proven model, and research has demonstrated overwhelmingly that individuals served in the Housing First model are more likely to remain stably housed than those helped in what is called a Treatment First model, which is what many of us are familiar with, which says you need to be completely sober and you need to have a job in order to get housing. Once stably housed, though, in the Housing First model, the evidence shows that individuals are better able to resolve underlying substance abuse and mental health issues than in the Treatment First model. That's not to say that Treatment First doesn't work. It does work for some people, but some of the most challenging individuals, which we call the chronically homeless, sometimes are not able to meet the barrier to receive treatment through the Treatment First model. A systematic review of 26 studies, and I will have citations later. I know they're going to be really hard to see, but we do have citations. Really do encourage you to look up Housing First and do your own reading here. But a systematic review of 26 studies found that Housing First programs decreased homelessness by 88% and improved housing stability by 41% as compared to the Treatment First programs. As well, in 2013, the state of Indiana conducted a study and found that the state would save about $1,149 per person by using a Housing First and permanent supportive housing model as compared to the status quo. And the state has adopted Housing First as a standard policy. The state of Indiana has been involved in funding many of the permanent supportive housing units that you see in South Bend. We'll go through a couple other examples here of some additional studies. Charlotte-Mecklenburg, North Carolina had a very interesting study that showed that Housing First reduced emergency department visits, arrests, and incarceration events while increasing use of less costly supportive services. And after receiving housing, participants experienced a 59% decrease in arrests, a 58% decrease in incarcerations, and the average number of emergency department visits fell by 59%. In Denver, Colorado, Housing First reduced public costs for shelter, criminal justice, healthcare, emergency room, and behavioral health by $15,000 per year per person. These savings offset the full cost of the supportive services that were provided in the Housing First program and actually saved taxpayers $2,000 per person served. In Houston, Texas, a number of homeless individuals in the Houston region has been cut by 63% since 2011. This has been shown as one of the biggest decreases in chronically homeless individuals in the nation. Reduced the wait for permanent housing for homeless veterans from 720 days to 32 days. In Canada, participants spent 73% of their time in stable housing under the Housing First approach, compared to 32% in the status quo. And then I think I mentioned the federal government has adopted Housing First as a policy. It was first adopted under the George W. Bush administration. And the Veterans Affairs Supportive Housing, which are called VASH vouchers, is at scale the most successful Housing First program in the nation. A University of Notre Dame study by the Lab for Economic Opportunity found that the Housing First approach used by the VA was effective in reducing the number of homeless veterans. We've had a lot of questions about site selection and how this site was selected and why we're bringing this site forward as a possible site for the intake center. So I want to talk you through a little bit of the thinking behind our team and some of the parameters that we placed around looking for the right site to put this center. First of all, it's going to need to be in the city of South Bend. We are in the city and I work for city government, so that's where our jurisdiction is. Secondly, we are looking for a parcel that is greater than 3 acres to facilitate new construction of an intake center with enough space for all the individuals to be housed there, parking, etc. Additionally, we would like the site to be located within 1/4 mile of a bus stop. Most unsheltered individuals do rely on public transportation. The city of South Bend does assist with bus passes for individuals, and so we want to make sure that they have access to that transit system. And here is, you'll see we're starting to narrow down the parcels that you can see on this map. So I'm going to take away the parcels not within a quarter mile of a bus stop here. Next, we're looking for vacant or undeveloped parcels. This is where things really get narrowed down, and you'll see the number of parcels decrease significantly. We're looking for parcels that don't have existing structures. This is meant to be a purpose-built facility. It's very difficult to use an existing building for these services. It's been done temporarily at Motels for Now at the Knights Inn, but we really believe that building a facility from the ground up is going to be a better fit for these services. It also can't be in a wetland area or on a contaminated site. I think everybody understands that. You can't build on a wetland, and a contaminated site is not a great place for people to live. That takes a lot of the sites off the map as well. And lastly, it's got to be a site that the city is able to purchase. I've shown in red some sites that were originally discussed with other partners, and they were not able to be purchased for this use. So, and again, here's a map of the service providers that are in South Bend. I showed this earlier. But you can see most of them are currently centralized around the downtown area on the northeast side, the southwest, and the southwest side. So let's zoom in a little bit on this site. This is the site in question here on North Bendix Drive. I have shown some other sites that were considered and currently were not able to be acquired. That I've shown those in red. So I'm going to walk through a few frequently asked questions, and then I'm almost done. Why not Ignition Park? We've gotten this question a lot here in the last couple of weeks. Ignition Park is on the southwest side of downtown, former site of the Studebaker factory. The biggest reason for that is Ignition Park is still part of the Indiana Department of Environmental Management's voluntary remediation program. This means that there are some limited contaminants at that site that we are working on remediating with IDEM, and so it does not currently allow for residential use. We are able to use it for other uses, industrial, commercial, and office, but people are not able to live on that site. Additionally, its proximity to other service providers goes against the goal of decentralizing the geographic location of these services.
Why decentralized?
That doesn't make sense. Would think they would be all better.
Did we look at other sites? The city and New Day did engage with St. Joseph County elected officials to discuss possible sites for the center, including Old Cleveland Road and Portage Manor. County officials at the time declined to make those sites available. Does low barrier mean that drug dealers are free to roam and it's a free-for-all? No, that's not. We'll hear from you. We're happy to hear from you later. There are ground rules at Motels for Now, and there will be ground rules at a low barrier intake center. Drug distribution is prohibited and drug use is strongly discouraged. Illegal drug use continues to be illegal at an intake center. Will sex offenders be allowed to stay at the site in question on Bendix Drive? No, they will not. This site is within 1,000 feet of Bullen Park, and a sex offender may not live within 1,000 feet of a park.
They already made the deal with them in it.
There's already on Lincoln Way that there are, and there's parks there.
They won't move to Bendix Drive.
But they are currently.
Public safety, will the site be fenced and have 24/7 security? Yes, it will. Yes to both. The city will support a variance for a 10-foot fence at the site. We'll take questions later. Thank you.
That security is only going
10-foot fence. We will take questions later, sir. Thank you. A 10-foot fence at the site and 24/7 on-site security. Here's the sources. We'll send this presentation out. I think most of you can't see the sources right now. I'm going to turn it over to Sheila McCarthy, the Executive Director of the New Day Intake Center and Motels for Now. She's going to share more about the center itself. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck, Sheila. Here's the clicker. You just click right.
Good evening, everyone. Did you enjoy the sunshine this morning? Good. Thank you for taking such a great interest in... Oh, thank you. Thank you for taking such a great interest in our work. Just to introduce myself, Dr. Sheila McCarthy. I became interested in homelessness growing up outside of Boston and seeing people sleep on heating grates in the 1980s and wondering how is that acceptable in a society, in a Christian society. It led me to study theology and get involved in issues of homelessness. I joined the Catholic Worker Movement and came back to do my PhD at Notre Dame in theology and trauma healing and the works of mercy. It's the connection with Our Lady of the Road, a free laundromat, cafe, drop-in center that's provided breakfast, laundry, showers for over 15 years now, simply because there wasn't a way to house people experiencing homelessness. We would pour coffee instead of hand out room keys because there simply wasn't a way to house people. It was only recognizing the public health crisis that homelessness is through the pandemic that allowed housing to become a reality for the first time. We had approached 20 different hotels and motels, the Nights Inn, which has long been an eyesore. It was the only place that said yes. So we were able to move people from Tent City into the Nights Inn in August of 2020 because we were able to make that available for the first time. So suddenly people are not staying outside, but are staying inside. Here's a short video by some of our guests.
I literally felt like I was drowning and I couldn't find a way to get up on shore. And Motels for Now has been the hand that reached out and has allowed me to pull myself up.
And they found us an apartment. So now we have an apartment. They are good people. They help with everything.
Outside of housing, it's restored my faith and hope in humanity that despite whatever your darkness of the day is going to be, tomorrow is a new day with people that will care for you and that will help you and that will try to tackle the solution.
So I kind of like slid off a little bit. God willing, yeah, I'll be able to write the course and straighten things up, you know. I just need a breakthrough, and this is my start. Thank you.
They helped us get back on our feet. And it's easier when you have help than to do it by yourself.
Thank you. So we know what Tent City looks like. Tent City no longer exists because of the work of Motels for Now, and you are welcome for that, South Bend. Chronic homelessness is now functionally ended because of Motels for Now. You are welcome, South Bend. This was necessary because all we've had in this area are high barrier shelters, places that require treatment, that require medication before there's a place to stay. There were many people that couldn't stay at those places. They've stayed at them and were immediately asked to leave because they weren't following the requirements. So what else is available then when you're on the street? You could try to get into the ER. That's a tremendous cost to society. You could be arrested for trespassing. That's a high cost to society. These are the costs that we're already paying. And the tent city that's existed now no longer exists. Because someone with severe mental illness who's managing that mental illness the best they can, acquiring an addiction because there's not adequate mental health care that's available to them, the only place that's become possible for them is Motels for Now, which is a much more cost-effective option than either the jail or the hospital. What stability of housing does is allow for people to look at what's next in their life. And they're able to move into permanent housing, to go into treatment, to reunite with family members with whom they've been estranged. And these are all very local people. Almost everyone was housed in South Bend when they lost their housing and became homeless. We ask all of our guests where they attended high school in order to track. A plurality went to Riley High School. These are our own people. How does someone get into Motels for Now? I mentioned Our Lady of the Road, the free laundromat cafe on Main Street. We have an interview process that allows people to join our wait list. And then it's a very long wait to get in. People are not coming from out of town to wait for 8, 10 months before they can get into the motel. When someone comes to check in during breakfast, during laundry, during showers on a Friday morning, if those are the very few people that have been waiting the longest, we have over 50 people check in every Friday for maybe 3 spots, 4 spots. Then they're able to move to the motel. We do a full orientation with them, go over our expectations, let them know what's available. We go through our key policies, our expectations for our guests that are along our values of nonviolence, of constructiveness, and of accompaniment. We don't allow weapons, we don't allow violence, we don't allow threats. We don't allow outside people because we don't have a secure facility. It's a motel, so there's no front door, so we're very careful about who's on the property. We have quiet hours to respect each person's roommate and their need for quiet and time to prepare for the day. And we don't allow dealing of illegal or controlled substances. People are immediately asked to leave. So we're housing people in stability, offering them security, offering them dignity through a door that locks, through heating, air conditioning, a place to take a shower, a bed to sleep in. We have a food pantry on site. We partner with Hope Ministries. It's provided 2 meals a day to each person. We have medical providers on site through the Beacon Family Medicine residency program. We have physicians that come every other week. We have a nurse on staff. We have social workers. We have a full housing team. We place people on the coordinated entry list to get them in line for housing. We have recovery coaches on site. We have our own psychiatrist. We offer rides to medical appointments, including mental health. We offer rides to housing appointments. We offer bus passes. We want to reconnect people. And this has proven very successful, surprisingly. Housing First works because housing is healing. When people stay with us, they're much more likely to move on to a better option. Whether we're able to find them housing, they find their own next best steps, they're reunited with family, entering treatment. every night at the motel we say is a success because it's better than being in a tent. It's better than being in the doorway of a business. It's better than being in the woods. We've had 710 guests now. And any given night we have about 120 with an average stay of 4 months. And 78% are either with us or have moved on to better options of those 710. We've made over 200 housing placements, ending homelessness for all of those people. And 73% of those people that we've housed have remained housed. It can be very difficult to negotiate all that's involved in having to pay utilities and keep up with rent and make sure you're not inviting other people you know who are still experiencing homelessness to stay with you, which causes you to lose your apartment. I mentioned that we partner with Beacon Memorial and with Hope Ministries. To move people into housing, we partner with Oaklawn, the Center for the Homeless, the Youth Service Bureau, Health Plus, formerly known as AIDS Ministry, in order to get people into permanent supportive housing. We have many veterans that stay with us. We partner with the Veterans Administration to get people into housing who have been in the military. We partner with the South Bend Housing Authority in order to get housing choice vouchers. We help people connect with their family. We get them connected with treatment places. We follow up with them. We make sure that each of our 120 guests we're seeing every single day and we're talking to. Every member of the staff knows everyone by name and is expected to speak to each person. Our partnership goes beyond those places I've mentioned. We're grateful for the city of South Bend. We're grateful for St. Joseph County, who has funded us for our first 2.5 years. And now for the last year, the city of South Bend has taken that up as well. We partner with the police chief, with the county sheriff, with Oaklawn, with many agencies downtown. And what we've been able to accomplish here in the last 3.5 years, we realize we're working out of a rundown motel that we've now, since we purchased it not quite a year ago, we've made tremendous renovations on, but still we're working out of motel rooms. Our dream, our vision is to have a purpose-built facility where we can house guests in dignity and have adequate space for our physicians, for our social workers, to meet with people in purpose-built rooms rather than converted motel rooms, to be able to have administrative offices instead of converted motel rooms, to have a full kitchen, a full community area, to provide better wraparound services, mental health care, to spend less time keeping up with a rundown motel and instead get to spend more time with our guests. This is how we've created the vision of New Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila. And thank you to everyone for listening. We appreciate this opportunity to establish a baseline so that we all have the same information about the process the city has been through and also what Motels for Now actually is, so that you can see the information, so you get that information so we all know that. But now we know all of you many of you want a chance to be able to share public comments. Reminder, there are written forms in the back. If you don't want to share publicly, if you want to write down your comments, your support, your questions, feel free to use the paper there on the back table and leave those in the box. We will read all of those. But we have a mic up front. We'll invite people to come up into the aisle to take 3 minutes at a time to be able to speak. I'll give you a 30-second warning because we want to be respectful of everyone's time. We will stay here as long as it takes to hear everyone's comments, to hear your support. We invite you to come up into the aisle if you'd like to speak. If you'd come up to the aisle, it'd be easier for everyone to hear you so you can be amplified. If you need to get going, we invite you to come up. If those who are disadvantaged want to be able to come up first to speak, feel free to do that. The microphone is open. I'll let you know 3 minutes. At 2.5, I'll give you a 30-second warning so you can come up. If you're willing to state your name and either where you live or your neighborhood, that'd be helpful for us. Please go ahead.
Hi, my name is Ann Mannix. I live in the West Washington neighborhood. We have supportive housing. I'm here to support Motels for Now for 2 reasons. Pragmatically, we have to have some sort of shelter somewhere for these people. We can't have people sleeping on the street downtown, people sleeping on the ground anywhere. And I've had people use my front porch plug for electricity for their phones. So we need a basic level of order. We don't need people sleeping downtown. It's not good for anyone. It's not good for the people. They don't have toilets. They don't have sinks. Let's find a decent place. And I also think we should support them for ethical reasons. We are a wealthy society. All we're giving people is a room, half a room, and some food. And hopefully some of them will do better and get over their substance abuse. We would like everyone to get a job, but not everyone is capable of that. And we also need to support research and knowledge. If the Motels for Now, those people have been running homeless shelters for 2 years and dealing with homeless people for a long time. So we need to respect their experience. I would not go do brain surgery. I'm not going to go do construction. I trust the people that do it. So we need to listen to their experience and research. And finally, we need to support our government. It's a common problem. They have studied this for 5 years. So if they're reluctantly doing this, I don't think there are other alternatives. So we need to support our mayor and our council. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we can look at the audience.
It's more so you can see them, be able to talk to the mayor.
Well, come on, talk to people.
I think that they can hear you too. Your choice. Go ahead.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. My name is Don.
Okay, you guys speak into the mic.
My name is Don Pozniak. I live in the northwest corner of South Bend. There you go. That's what I wanted. Thank you. I live in the northwest corner of South Bend. We've lived here like 20 years.
Talk louder, Don.
Right? Okay. Anyway, first of all, I have to applaud these people for trying to do something for people. I think that's a good thing to do. But I don't know that if I agree with the implementation. Okay, the goal is good. The implementation, right here. Oh, geez. Do I pick up germs when I do this? Anyway, one thing I'd like to say to start out with is I was really insulted, Mr. Mayor, when you separated people by political belief, implying all Republicans don't want this, and all Democrats do. That's not true. You need to apologize to these people. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. The next issue is the effect of something like this on the local residents, the residents that are close by, and the businesses. It's proven over and over and over. I was on the internet looking at all kinds of studies. Housing, property values go down in the immediate surrounding area. So, I have this to ask of you, Mr. Mayor. Are you going to compensate those people for the money they've lost? Are you? How about the businesses, that go out of business? Let's say McDonald's goes out of business. I think they're worth about $2 or $3 million. Are we gonna compensate?
30
the
seconds, sir.
businesses?
30 seconds.
That's something that has to be answered. And then, you only have half the money to do this. Where's the other half coming from? Okay, but you're not gonna float a bill or anything? Okay, anyway, that's all I had to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so I live on the west side, but my child attends a school that will be very close to this facility. And we have already had to find an alternative route to get to school because of what my children were exposed to driving by Hotels for Now. We started going to McDonald's long before it closed because of being harassed in the drive-thru by people we can see coming over from Hotels for Now. Yes, I've had conversations with my kids, and they're older. But this place being so close to a daycare facility, that scares me. And this comment is for you. You said that the homeless are our city's most vulnerable residents. The children. And those 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, what they could potentially see based upon what my teenagers saw before they were even teenagers at this location. It's not acceptable. It's too close to a daycare, a school, a park, a neighborhood where kids are frequently walking around. What they're gonna see when they come out their door. Are they gonna see substance abuse? Are they gonna see people in inappropriate acts? It's just not okay. I am here to protect the children. That's my job, and that's what I'm standing for. I wholeheartedly agree that these people need help. I do, but this is not the location for it.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I'm gonna try to speak loud. Please don't fuss at me. My name is Tina Wilson. I'm 1213 North Kentucky Street. I live directly across from the Motels for Now. We've seen some pictures. Heard that no camps anymore. However, this is a picture from September 26, 2022, because this is how long I've been complaining. Those camps do exist, and sometimes in my backyard. That's been a problem for me. The drugs that are not allowed on the property, they have property. I've picked up drug paraphernalia from my property, used sexual condoms, I'm just gonna say it, from my yard. I have a 7-year-old, I have 15. I've had an incident where I've had an attempted burglary and someone else hiding under my bushes where I had to hold them in at gunpoint because I'm panicking. I have my children trying to take them to school. And I waited 13 minutes. And when the police arrived, they sent them back across the street. And they did that because they said I had no trespassing signs. I said they keep stealing them. They know. They know workarounds. So they need shelter. They need resources. I truly believe that. Low barrier has shown it's not working. We've watched McDonald's close, the business right next door, the hair store now has closed. T. Allen's has talked to me multiple times because now they're concerned because of the excessive loitering. So we have two problems, the location and the low barrier. At some point we can find a middle ground. Either we can keep the location, change the rules, or change the location and keep your low barriers, because we have pictures and studies, but we also have reality of what's been happening on this side of town. And it's not working for us.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cecilia. I live on the northwest side of South Bend. I'm going to reiterate what my sister-in-law said to people before me. The children are the most vulnerable in the community. And I have family members that go to Corpus. I work right next door. We have teenagers that work with us. There is a public park. There are families struggling to make it at Maple Lane Apartments right there. There are houses right there full of families, kids at the bus stops. This is not going to keep them safe. And the vulnerable children trump anybody else, okay? They come first. My other concern, I have no problem with this program, okay? I understand there does need to be somewhere for these people to go and help for them. This is not the place. It is too close to children and families and people that are struggling to make it. My other concern is the people that do not follow the rules at the low barrier facility and that they get asked to leave. Where are they going to go? Because if they are asked to leave the facility and there's all these neighborhoods and apartments and families, where are they going to go? Are they going to be in their yards? Are they going to be trying to break into houses? So I am not against the program, but there needs to be a better location that can protect the kids and the families first.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, participants. My name is Princess S. McCole. I'm homeless. I'm a resident at one of the shelters here. And I'm listening to you. I'm hearing you. I know what you're going through. We lost our home through a corruption type of thing, and it made me homeless. But I hear you. I agree. Not in the neighborhood. I live not in the neighborhood. I live at the shelter. It is controlled. We are civilized. Thank you, Mayor. But not in the neighborhood. And I say that from experience because I have seen the movement when I was not homeless. I saw the movement move from San Diego, San Francisco, Los Angeles, straight across the country. They are organized. They know where to hit and how to hit. And it is not a place for such a facility. It just isn't. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
How you doing? My name is Jalen Wilson, and I live on 1213 North Kentucky Street with my mom. I do kind of want to pick up on what she said, but I want to emphasize that because I feel like it would be better coming from a child who was 15 years old and had to go through that, because that is traumatizing. I still hear from my brother, oh, do you remember this? Do you remember that? Because of how traumatizing it was. We had to take him out of school, away from his education, because he didn't feel safe. He was wondering, oh, is mommy okay? Is my brother okay? And I was still questioning at school when my mom went home, is she okay? We shouldn't have to feel that way. We were children, as you guys have said. And I do respect that when you want to help people, that's proper. But I want to emphasize that when we say find another location, find it off of our property. Find it away from people who shouldn't have to deal with this. Like you guys have said, away from the schools, away from the parks, away from the kids. We can't even go outside by ourselves because of what happens. We have to be watched by our mother. And I should be able to watch them, but no, it feels more protective if we have a grown adult watching us. And it has come to a point where we don't even go outside anymore. As children, we should be able to experience that. But I just want to, like I said, pick up off my mother, Tina Wilson. I'm not sure exactly where she's at, but that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is James A. Masters. I'm a member of the law firm of Nemeth Feeney Masters in Campini, with offices at 350 Columbia Street in downtown South Bend. I'm here to speak on behalf of a local business owner and property owner. I'm also speaking as a homeowner. I live in the northwest corner of the city. I'm a business owner, an owner of our downtown office building. I'm a taxpayer, and I'm a voter. This project adversely affects the interests of my client and his property and my property. I'm frankly appalled at the lack of transparency by the city in this project. The only way the public learned about this project is through the local media. I didn't read the agenda of the redevelopment committee or any of the documents related to the purchase of the property. If this project is so beneficial to the city as the proponents would like us to believe, then why did the city have to go about this in such a sneaky way? And when the business owners and property owners in the vicinity of the project came before the redevelopment commission last week to speak their opposition, instead of the city taking into consideration the legitimate concerns of property owners, the city lashed out and branded the opposition as being on a right-wing witch hunt. Now let me just ask you, how many people are here tonight to speak in opposition to this project? To this project. Shame on you for resorting to name calling, taking into consideration the legitimate concerns of the property owner. This project was before the Redevelopment Commission for the adoption of a resolution that states, quote, "The project will promote economic development and will facilitate compatible land use planning," end quote. And use of the land acquired will be, quote, "for general public benefit and welfare and will promote the civic well-being of the community." Are they joking? How can the city say that? This is not just a NIMBY, not in my backyard. The property owners and the businesses located in the vicinity of Lincoln Way and Bendix
30 seconds. 30 seconds, please.
Have seen firsthand the deterioration of the neighborhood since the city took over the motel. And to characterize this project as a homeless shelter is to give it a name that it doesn't deserve. This is a haven for persons who want to be free to do drugs, abuse alcohol, and engage in antisocial behavior. And the city wants to spend $12 million for this? Please stop a project. Let's put this project to end now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Scott Dunham. I'm a member of Grace United Methodist Church, lifetime South Bend resident, and I'm rather appalled at some of the meanness and nastiness and the tone I'm hearing from this group. I'm ashamed to say I'm from this city. I've been a volunteer with Project Warm through my church, and we worked with the homeless by providing meals, by visiting with them, talking to them, and I'd like to see a show of hands in here for everybody who's actually worked with the homeless at any point during the last decade. All right. We're going on Saturday. So if you have met these people, they are human beings, and we treat them. Our public representative was quoted in the paper this week about saying that they were garbage and they want to sit around overdosing in free housing. That is disgraceful. From public servant, disgraceful. I'm furious about that. When we volunteer with these people, we realize that they are human beings just like us. My church did a cookout for them in September. The majority of those people at Motel for Now were polite and thankful and friendly. There are troublemakers in every group, including sitting in this room, people who can't keep their mouths shut while other people are talking. It's incredible. For saying they're automatically child molesters because they're homeless. You see these signs back here? I am ashamed to be a member of the community. There are child molesters who aren't homeless either. Deb Fleming was a member of the county council. She's a member of my church. She helped me with the homeless, and I wish we had somebody like her still on the council because she cared for these people, not like some of the people we have now. I understand the importance of business ownership. That is NIMBYism. We've been trying for more than 5 years to get a place like this. Every neighborhood steps up and says, not in my neighborhood. I got news for you. The homeless are in every single neighborhood. Do something now. Help these. Every single location would be in the wrong place, folks. Come on. Let's get together and do this and stop being so nasty about it. Thank you.
My name is Christine Meislow, and my husband Dennis and I own Tom's Car Care Center, the Coffee Spot Cafe, and the Waterworks Car Wash. We will be 2 doors down from the proposed low barrier shelter. when we've been in business for over 35 years. First, I'd just like to say I'm shocked and disappointed by the city's lack of transparency. For the city to try to sneak through a project of this magnitude without any community, all of the residents of South Bend feel uncomfortable. It is also tiresome to hear the divisiveness on the news about how the opposition to this project is a political stunt and a witch hunt by the Republican Party. There is a beautiful group of both Democrats and Republicans here and that are really trying to come up with a solution. If we're given the opportunity, there's lots of different proposed sites and locations that I think people have. I think everyone in this room can agree that we want to do something to help the homeless population in our city. But we're just not sure that the low barrier and the location is right. Anyway, I hope that all here can agree again that we need to do something, but there's just too many red flags for the proposed location. And really, quite honestly, I think there's a lot of qualms about the type of facility. We all know there's schools, there's churches, there's a business community. 35 years ago, we purchased property in the small business district where our business is located, you know, to help promote growth in the Northwest Corridor and to be by other like-minded business owners, small business owners. But basically, we feel like already there's a big uptick in crime with the location currently on Lincoln Way. All of our businesses, homes, and residences have experienced this uptick in crime. And it's, you know, I know the Motels for Now has solved some problems for having people have homes, but there's a lot of people still squatting on business properties in woods behind all these businesses as well. So I don't think that's exactly perfect like it's made out to be. Anyway, this type of environment, which is, you know, been down on Lincoln Way, that's closed McDonald's, a beauty supply place, lots of other businesses, Penguin Point, Walmart's closed on our Northwest Corridor. We're going to continue to have more and more problems like this because that type of environment is not conducive to business, homeownership, residency, and people doing business. So we just feel like, again, there's not been any transparency, and we're concerned about it. We just hope that we're given an opportunity to have a balanced group of people and individuals that are both pro and against, you know, different locations, that we can come together as a community to try to come up with a better location. None of us have been involved in any of these type of, you know, studies or proposals.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Carl Buchanan, the South Bend Fire Chief. I'm Carl Buchanan, the South Bend Fire Chief. Can everybody hear me? Thank you so much for coming out tonight, but we have a problem with capacity in this particular room, as you can probably tell. This room, based on the staff member, said that this is a 35 by 50 room, which stipulates Indiana code of 200 people with chairs or either standing. And I believe we have more than that in this room. That is not allowed. So under the Indiana State Fire Code, we are going to have to clear this room. Everyone's going to have to go out. I have fire crews coming. They will be allowing 200 people to come back and re-enter. That's the state statute. That is not Carl Buchanan's statute. That's not up to me to reschedule the meeting.
We will have another meeting with a bigger venue.
Beautiful. Everybody should be able to speak. Mayor, you're just going to do it at establish another time and schedule? Because otherwise, everybody's going to have to go, and it's not going to be able to be allowed back in based on the time that you got here. All right, beautiful. Everyone, be safe, please. Be safe, please.
I was.